It's time to feed the wire out of Santa's head for his new video eyes. I was this close to drilling a hole through his neck, which is right there, because that's how it would be on the skeleton, but I didn't realize that he sits way down in there. So I just found center, which I just took this screw right here, and I drilled a 3/16 inch hole right there. And I'm going to feed the wire through there, but I'm going to change the connector because the connector coming from the eyes is a barrel connector and it's not waterproof. So I got me a waterproof connector that I'm going to put on there instead, and then put the other end of the waterproof connector on from the power supply. So keep everything nice and dry and keep anything from shorting out. I will show you that step next. Finished wiring up the new video eyes that I added to my Home Depot 8-foot Santa. This is going to be part 2 video from the previous one showing how I installed the eyes. So the eyes come with 2 barrel connectors, a white one which plugs into a push button remote control to change the modes of his eyes. And it also comes with a wireless remote control, so there's really no need for this. So it also has a black barrel connector which looks like this. I cut it off. Then I had to figure out what was positive and what was negative, so I hooked it up to my meter here, and I figured out that the yellow is going to be your positive and your green is going to be your negative. So if you decide you want to change the connector, I didn't like the barrel connector because when it's connected, it's going to be sitting out in the elements, and I think moisture is going to get in there and cause havoc. So I decided to cut it off. I also cut off the other end of the power supply and put the other end of the waterproof connector. So these waterproof connectors are here. I purchased these on Amazon. So out of the Santa, I have the male, which is the 2 prongs in there, and it has the threads on it. And then on the power supply, I have the female on there. And see what makes them waterproof is it has that little silicone seal right there. And then you have this little nut that will keep it all together and keep moisture out. So you can see here on the back of the Santa, I ran a lead, and then here's where it's connected to the waterproof connector. I use these solder seals. It's a shrink tubing with solder inside, which connects them up really nice. I drilled a 3/16 inch hole here to get the wire through. And I also put some hot glue around there for 2 reasons. One, to keep it from pulling out, and also to keep moisture. Then on the back side, I put Santa on his head on his body, and I realized that that's where you need to drill the hole right there. And then same thing, I just put more hot glue around there to keep moisture from going in there. So here you can see the male part of the solder of the waterproof connector. This is the female part, which I have running to an extension that I put on the power supply. So I just measured how far the Santa was going to be to my power supply. And so instead of putting an extension cord, I just got some 18 gauge 2-pair wire, red and black. And I have the female, I cut off the barrel connector and put the female waterproof connector on one end and run it to the power supply. So I'm going to get them all set up and plugged in and see how he looks.